topic is how do we transform the product organization? So far, we've been talking about the vision, strategy, creating an innovation roadmap. We spoke about how to create innovative projects, products, and then we spoke about transformation, portfolio rationalization, and now we are the guys who really make it happen, right? So we are, thank you. All right, so all the ideas and all the great things are in place. Now the rubber's meeting the road, so we go and deliver all your innovative projects. So that's the background of this panel discussion, and some of the thoughts, questions that come by are how do we change the organization to be ready for the innovation and innovative roadmap, emerging tech, and stuff like that. So what are the various aspects of it, from tools, metrics, people, you know? So we're just going to cover what is our experience in changing the organization for a transformative, innovative product development organization. Okay, so what we would do is, based on our experience of the last 15 years, let's talk about 3 things we learned in the last 2 days. so just a quick round of intro from everybody, and at least 1 or 2 things that we learned in the last 2 days in the Innovation Summit. Could be funny, could be interesting, could be new, right? So should we start with that? And if you guys learned the same, no penalization for clapping. Okay, let's start with Kingsley.
So myself, I'm Kingsley. I work for Dell. I'm a senior manager handling B2B applications. Coming to the 2 learnings, right? One was about the creativity, right? And what most of us in this, what we believed and or what we thought, that we are so creative. I think Frederick killed that, right? So second thing, on the same line on the creativity, right? We are always creative, right? When this ChatGPT or OpenAI, whatever it comes over, right? We all showed our skills just to go and type and see what it replies, right? And few of us try a lot of combinations like this, right? How do I eat pani puri without spilling out from my mouth while I'm doing open heart surgery, that too in Accion Lab Innovation Summit. So we try to always test what is that, which shows our creativity, right? The second thing what I learned is definitely how important innovation is for an organization, right? And really kudos to Accion Lab for your consistency on conducting this particular Innovation Summit. Yep.
Hi, everybody. This is Venu, long timer in Accion. A lot of you know me. I own delivery. I run some of the key large engagements at Accion. Now, with regards to the learnings, so I had 1 learning yesterday. Thanks to Jayavant, fantastic presentation. That's something which is the focus right now at Accion, trying to use some of these tools, concepts, technologies. And one thing that I understood after watching him present is, I thought I'm standing alone. I thought I'm not able to really send across some message to the customers to bring in efforts or focus in using some of these tools. Looks like that's going to be an effort, but hopefully that goes away very soon. Because I believe that this is the time where some of these exciting technologies can be put to work and we can see amazing results. So yeah, that's something that I learned yesterday. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Sean here. I'm an IT director at LabCorp. I think the one thing I'll start off in the early morning breakfast, I said, we have some resources who are helping us from Accion Labs And today was, in the last 2 days, it was an sort of enlightenment and an eye-opening that Accion Labs is really a company who thinks beyond just like delivering, right? I think it's thinking in the forefront and thinking has an innovation mindset, which I think is poised to do great things. So that's kudos to the entire Accion team here. And thanks for having me here. It was a great opportunity. What I did learn in the last 2 days was actually a lot. I echo what he just said about Jayavant and other equally smart people talking about some of the presentations which involved the Gartner report showing the sort of a bell curve, right? Like you have the peak now everybody's talking about. If anybody has heard the podcast between Sam Altman and Bill Gates, they say we are right now, according to Sam Altman, building the most stupidest models right now. So in like 5 years, when we go back and look at the models that are out there, we're going to say, heck, what did we deliver to our customers? But now it is at a phase where it's going to mature and it is going to look a much more natural flow to our IT industry. So I think that was a great segue there. And the other part which I really enjoyed hearing about is really your customer experiences and really a broader gamut of things, right? Like, how do I solve this problem? And I am like creating a mountain of a mole with or finding a needle in a haystack, but I'm doing with so many tools with Allow, and I want to be extremely focused. So I think that was a good presentation in those areas. So those are the two things I really learned from here.
Hello everyone, Shahid here. I'm an architect in Accion Labs, and so there was a lot of learning, but if I have to list just two, I would say the perspective on innovation and innovation as enablers is something which was a very good takeaway for me. And second was banking as service by using platforms to facilitate and create new business models.
Bonjour, I'm still Jerome. So I'm working with Cision. So what we do at Cision is that we accelerate brands with helping them to see and to be seen, to understand and to be understood by influencers and audiences that matter them most. So that's what we do. In particular, on my side, I often describe myself as being passionate about one thing. My passion is to make sure that the customers that we are serving, and so the products that I'm creating for them, makes our customers more efficient with our products than their peers. So what I'm targeting is to be able, with our products, them to have a better life and to be more efficient in what they are doing, to gain more money, in a way. And that magic can only happen if we have a strong team that's able to understand what could be their need and to deliver that. And over these 2 days, I must say that on stage here, but also in all the conversations that we had, I had the opportunity to meet a lot of passionate people. And among you, managers, leaders, executives, and through you, via all the developers that are also working with me, I'm very confident that we will be able to keep on going, developing these marvelous projects and products for our customers.
Hi, my name is Mary Basani. I am representing Rotary International. I'm the Director for Digital Product Delivery over there. Last 2 days have been amazing, just hearing all the various speakers and the thought process and innovation. I think at least in a day I have heard innovation 100 times, but one thing I did realize is no matter how much we talk about innovation, Ash, you couldn't make people come on time. We have been running late on schedule. But all jokes apart, I think the main items that I actually, as a takeaway for me, is the data side of the house. Mandar's presentation was outstanding, just the overall strategy. Karthik's presentation about synthetic data, I think those were some things which I will pursue even after I go back. And I'm really interested in continuing those conversations, but thank you. This is really amazing, and thanks, Accion, for holding this.
I am Jessica Lynette, a passionate product leader at Dell Technologies. I work for Dell.com experiences for consumer and commercial customers. So interestingly, what I learned, I'll back up a bit. We're all succumbed to this shiny object syndrome, the shiny object being GenAI. But I loved the way Accion showcased innovation through GenAI. You know, some of the learnings, the demos that you all showcased, very closely, you know, it connects to what customers look for. So very interesting, it was backed and powered by creativity. So kudos on that. And of course, today's session covered how we could build an ecosystem, you know, a symphony of ecosystem and even systems of differentiators. So thank you so much.
Yeah, welcome all, and of course we've got Dell, we've got Cision, we've got Rotary, we've got LabCorp, a very innovative company, and of course we've got Accion, right? So that's the that's a blend. I think it's a great blend to start with. So transforming the product organization, right? So we all know, we all have been working with our existing products, get legacied in a couple of years, and then we come up with either a big bang rewrite or a big bang roll of bandages, right? So whatever we put on it, how do we set the organization, you know, be prepared for this? So what has worked for you guys in terms of the transformation of your process, tools, people, all these things? I think maybe Jerome, you want to talk about this?
The question is really wide, so I will try to highlight a few things. The first one is that I mentioned that Cision is a technology company. In fact, we have engineers that are coming from and going to companies like Google, Apple, Meta, so a lot of brilliant people. And at a given point, they are originated from these companies, they want to develop things, and we have a wide range of different trademarks within Cision, Cision One, PR Newswire, Brandwatch. And so what we need is to establish a way for them to understand what is expected from them, where they are, who they are in a way. And so that's probably the first thing. First way to answer that question is to make sure that everyone has a common career ladder with identifying what is the next step of my career, what will happen to me if I'm doing great things. Then the second point to me that's clearly important is to make sure that everyone works together. It's a nice thing to have brilliant people, it's another thing to have a brilliant team. And so implementing SAFe framework with program implement planning to make sure that everyone works on the same path at the same speed and knows laterally what the other teams are doing is something that we pay attention to, and we take a lot of time every quarter to make sure that all teams regroup and make sure that they know that they are targeting the common role and common objectives that was identified, and that if they are doing great, the company overall will do great. And the last point is a way, in fact, like what we are experiencing here. It's a nice thing to have a nice process, nice people. You need to have the magic. I mean, so here we are spending time all together, and that's great. What we've implemented within Cision is another thing which is absolutely gorgeous, which is hackathon. And so we enable and we encourage all developers to participate to that. And I'm talking about developers, but also product people and all people that are interested in that. And that led, in effect, to create new products internally, thanks to these efforts. That's very limited, 2 days, a lot of brain, a lot of effort, a lot of sweat. But at the end, when you have a bunch of people that do not know each other, and then in effect can create something that's really innovative in 2 days, and they can see that a quarter or 2 quarters later, the whole company is able to use that, that's a game changer.
You know, this is a ritual for the large decision team as well, and it's been a lot of inspiration. So we do Hackathon with the ACC for Accion, and thanks to the inspiration from Precision that we started the Tech Tuesday. It's been going on for a year or so, but it all started with the Tech Tuesday that you have, I think, right? I think Ravi was one of our first presenters there, so very happy about that. So thanks for that, and thanks for helping us set the path as well. So Mary, you want to talk about the same on changing your organization for the innovation?
So a couple of years back, we went through a digital, I think I spoke last summit as well, that we went through a digital transformation. How Rotary has prepared is we definitely gave more empowerment by moving the roles of product manager and product owner on the business side. So they have that insight and the depth of knowledge that we want to have. And also preparing on the IT within the development house, scaling up and skilling up, because we brought a whole new tech stack as well. And the third thing that I think is very important is the communication and the transparency between the inter-team. We are so siloed sometimes. The Scrum teams are working on their own, but we forget to inform of the dependencies. So that, to remove the blockers and also to create the transparency, I think having an open communication channel is really important. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks. Sean, you want to talk about how you run your organization that by itself is a very innovative organization, lots of innovative products, cutting edge, right? So you want to talk about how you create set the stage for that.
Yeah, I think a lot, I mean, we are humans, right? I mean, I think what the famous adage is, right? It's easier to deal with machines than humans. So I think it's always process over people or people over process, right? I think a big cultural mind shift has to be about adoption and inclusion, right? Like I think Mary made an excellent point about people working in silos and absolutely oblivious to what's going on in the other teams and the development that's going in the other teams. So I think part of my, like I've introduced multiple products in the organization, and my philosophy has been like, let's get something that is tangible, fungible, and make it more user-friendly. So I, more often than not, just get it out in the lunch and learn sessions to the entire organization as just something there are people out there who want to learn. There are people out there who are inquisitive. Those are, according to me, are the actual leaders in the company who will take the company to the next level. And then you want to tap into that. You want to tap the potential of that and really foster, the ideas. And then it just becomes very interactive and get more educational, as well as your feedback is so crucial for you to adopt, because then the ideas that they'll give you is the ideas that is your like client base, right? And then if you can't sell them, then you're not sold it to yourself. So that's how I feel that any adoption has become easier in the product transformation. And more often than not, I found it to be successful.
If it's okay, Shan, if you could just quickly tell a minute or two on the way you explained your product in the morning, which really wowed me, right? Some of the really breathtaking, earth-changing products that you're working on.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm like mostly working on the API technologies. I'm definitely, there were some discussions that they were talking about. I think Ash brought it up. event-driven models. So we are definitely working on Kafka, MQ streaming, where we are trying to get some real-time data and event-driven, right? Like we take a specimen and then we're dropping at a particular location, so we need to update that base and see how fast we can turn around the results, right? These are all event-driven. So I think these are the technologies that are also actually, I mean, I hate to use the word AI again because so many people are using it, but then it is part of now, it's imbibed in most of the tool space that we are using. So it's going to be there, and it's just going to get better and better with that.
So let's talk about Dell. You've got various streams of work. Shan spoke about multiple teams not knowing what each other is doing, what innovation or what gate practices one team is doing to the other. So how do you manage your projects and culture at Dell?
Yeah, basically, we have this OGSMs, right? We'll set our objectives, strategies, goal, and then measure, right? So that's how we'll start with, and then we'll go with. Down the lane, there may be changes in the priorities and all, right? It's again, on the given point of time, what is the need of the hour and how you prioritize your stuff. That matters a lot. So that's how we follow.
Yeah, and I would, to add to what Kingsley said, so as an e-commerce industry, we usually face a lot of headwinds, constant drifts and shifts of how our customers' buying patterns and desires, right? And there's this constant, like we have to keep pace to that evolving space of our, evolving trends. So it's not always about churning out as many features out the door. It's more of what feature brings value to our customer. I think that is a key learning that we learned over the time as we modernized our experiences. And I think very importantly, what we as a team collectively, like the product manager, the engineer, the designer, all of them think collectively about what problem are we trying to solve here? Who are we solving it for? And what are we trying to achieve solving this problem? And overall, how are we going to achieve it? So we do not start with the business solution. We start with the customer problem. I think that is important as far as we understand that, we are here to solve for our customer and not really offer the features we want to showcase. I think that's the key to success. And I think these are some of the hurdles we have overcome. Yeah.
It was interesting you say. So we've had a deep dive during our New Year kickoff, and we wanted to talk about how do we create value to our customers. And we create a pyramid of it. And the bottommost pyramid is understand the customer's business, understand customer's customer, see what they want, right? Then don't talk about microservices, or data synthesis on day one, right? Let's understand the customer's problem. It's good that you said that. I'm sure it'll resonate with everybody, but because we've been talking about it a lot.
Yeah, I just want to add that, right? If you don't understand the customer need, right? If you're asked to come to Malaysia, then you'll be ending in Mall of Asia.
We got it right at Dell.
So last year in the summit, I took a session on how GenAI, the myth or the discussion of GenAI is going to take away jobs. Is it real? Is it going to take away, give 60 to 80% productivity improvement? You may not need your full Scrum teams. We had a lot of nightmares last year, same time, right? It's 1 year from then. How has things changed? The way you see it. I just want to pick it up. Jerome, you want to start?
Yeah, it's frightening. I mean, if it takes your job, do you want to work on that? I mean, that's. I wouldn't. I mean, I started yesterday a little bit on that topic. We pay high attention to the ethical way we use these different AI tools. That's a concern from a CSR perspective, but that's a concern from a human perspective, from you and me, how to leverage these AI tools. At the same time, there is an obvious need to use these tools, and we have a lot of developers that are developing AI tools internally. What I would say also is that there is an absolute need to have an ethical approach because we are managing a lot of data coming from the editors and treating them very rapidly. So we need to have an acceleration that's permitted by the AI tools, but at the same time, we need to make sure that the copyright is protected on that, which means that at the end, we are very selective on the AI tools that we are using internally to make sure that we are accelerating our jobs, but we are protecting what we need to protect. 80% is probably too high, but definitely 30% is something that is seen in effect, and I push everyone, and I strongly urge everyone here and via all your teams to keep using the tools that are enforced by the different companies you are working for, because in effect, that's changing his life. So,
you want to add something? Yeah?
No, I mean, I think as far as the jobs are concerned, right, I think we all are probably in an industry that we have seen so many phases. Our era has probably seen a wide gamut, right, starting from transistors, radios, to cell phones. And like every time we have this discussion about jobs going away and all that, I think it just brings more opportunities. In my perspective, it's our tool if we know how to use it to our advantage. And I think most of the developers, or at least the good developers I feel, are in it for the thrill and the creativity and for the innovation, rather than getting bogged down with, oh, this stupid syntax is not working, or this it just boggles them that some stupid line of code is like now bringing the entire code down. I think it's just going to alleviate and take out all that redundancies, and it's just going to foster more. At the end of the day, it's semantics, right? I mean, you just have to think about it like, yeah, it's a tool at my disposal, and I can do bigger and better things with it. And efficiency for the companies who are thinking strategically of investing in core values and for the community, right? Ultimately, we all are doing it for a purpose. I think so. Ash said it right, or I think it was Kinesh who said it, that it is all purpose driven. The purpose is, if there is a purpose, there is always going to be value, and jobs will be there. So I think that's, so I'm of the camp that there will be jobs, but there will be good quality jobs out there.
So let's ask Shahid, the real guy on the code. Shahid, how much of your productivity has improved because of GenAI?
A lot, I would say. Especially like majority of my time goes to do code reviews and architecture reviews. I'm part of AVB. Majority of the unit tests that I used to write, or my teammates write, it's all automated. We write 90% of unit tests through AI. I don't write any documentation of code at all. It's all done through AI. So that's a lot of time saved just writing and building code. Especially on the logic part, is something which you do, and the rest of the things are mainly automated. So that's a save time. Documentation, yes. The other part is on the architecture meeting, writing emails. So my entire development workflow and entire workflow of my work is somehow been, accelerated, I would say, to an extent that, I have time to pursue other things, especially, attending those pre-sales calls if needed, or any other kind of thing that's coming up. So, yeah. But not frightened by it at all. Not frightened by these AI things at all.
Awesome, thanks. That's a good perspective. Awesome. So the previous presentation, if you had seen Mahalakshmi's, the first screen that had all the metrics under the sky, right? The screen wasn't enough. So just want to talk on metrics. So how do we measure? What do we measure? What do you feel is relevant? And what has added value to your SDLC? What metrics? There are a zillion metrics that you can measure.
Yeah, metrics has become a part of our life, right? Like tools that measure the performance of the systems, whether they're up and down or observability, availability. Also the metrics for measuring teams' performance, so velocity, defect numbers, defect tickets, how many deployments are being done, number of deployments. There are a number of metrics that we can use, but I think what is relevant for you and your organization is very important. You can't start measuring everything, whatever is in the big blue sky. One, because it's going to demotivate the team members once you start measuring, comparing. Two, I also wanted to say, like, there are some metrics that are not relevant. Case in point, if I start measuring developers on performance, how do I do it? Maybe one way I could do it is the number of lines of code each person has done. I don't think that's the right way to measure. A 2-line code may be more complex versus a 10 lines of code. So those are some of the things we need to always keep in back of our mind on what is more relevant and how to increase the team spirit and not demoralize them. Thank you.
And I think I echo what she rightly said is what works for you well. And I would again go back to Mahalakshmi's steps. It caught my eye. You cannot measure what you cannot manage. So to add to that, I think when you look at, like, for example, customer experience, from the time, you know, a customer comes in searching for a product to the time the customer makes an informed decision about the product and decides to buy. Now, if a product team is building something at the start versus another product team is building a feature at the end, their metrics are going to be different. They're not going to see the same view. Somebody who's building a feature at the start will see, okay, how am I going to push this customer, this visitor to a customer? Versus somebody at the end of that journey who's building features for that journey is looking at it from, how do I convert this customer? Rightfully. So I think it's very important to look at it from the lens of what the customer needs. That is number one. Second is, all your metrics, may it be productivity, may it be, you know, your customer measures, they all need to align to one common vision, the company-wide vision, the company-wide goal. And if it does not, then we are missing something big. I think that is key. Yep.
Yeah, so no, we started this conversation as how do you transform product engineering? So I think the first thing, I think the starting point is to define the success criteria. Whatever that you do next should be aligned to the success criteria. And that gives you the list of metrics that you need to measure. So I'm just keeping it very simple, but this is a big concept or a theory that can go on for hours if you want to discuss. But the success criteria is the key here. What does the business want? How do they want to place this product? By when do they want to place this product? If you derive metrics for this to measure, that's what you generally look for.
Sure, I mean, everybody's got pen and paper, so I thought you will say cycle time, lead time, velocity, first time, right? Nothing came out, but I will not leave this panel without that, which I will do. Okay, so let's talk about automation, right? So how much of automation is in place in our in our SDLC end to end? You know, there's a lot of tools. Again, we saw a lot of tools from Pranav in the morning, and I think even Mahalakshmi showed a bit of tools for measuring, right? So what tools do we use and seen success from an end-to-end automation? So you want to go, Shan?
Yeah, I mean, there are automations that are done in silos, and there is automation, you want to see it holistically from an implementation standpoint, right? I think one of the things that is closer to my heart, and it's very important that that automation plays a role is Labcorp is investing in gene editing, and they are working a lot in genome sequencing for how to find the malignancy in tumors and what are the deficiency, right? There is a lot of work, there is a lot of data, and I think one of the things that I learned was there was no correlation, right? Like you have all this data, but there is no correlation of that data. And now with the technologies, I think there is a lot of automation tools built in terms of finding what is the deficiency in a particular protein, how to create that virus, inject it back into the human to fix that DNA sequencing so that the cancer does not develop. There is and that automation has, like, I think, has played a pivotal role. So, I mean, these are custom-built tools using, of course, some of that is GenAI, and some of that we are using other utilities like, you have Llama, and like we also use a little bit of, the orchestration tools, the CI/CD tools for like the Swift or the deployment piece, but that's just like from a process standpoint, right? The real automation is how fast we can iterate and get the results and fail fast or succeed fast so that we can deliver to the right appropriate testing.
Jerome?
I will not answer on the tool side, but on the process side. And maybe the final thing that I would like to share with you about that is that you need to run things, you need to build things, you need to innovate. That's what you are supposed to do as you are an engineer. My main point that I would like to add to that is that you need to love. I think I shared that last year. I was a little bit short. I will elaborate a little bit. Love is really great because in love, it's not only a passion that you have in you, but it's the fact that you pay attention to the other one. So in my case, it's for the customers that I'm serving. For any of us, it's the people we are working for. And so definitely to innovate in whatever you are doing, please love.
Any questions from the audience? There must be 2 questions.
I want to add one point, Ramesh.
Please.
Yeah, we can go to the audience
No,
also.
please
but,
go ahead.
see, especially when it comes to automation, what I'm not seeing still as part of the fine-tuning of processes to make them more effective is when you have a solution using which you can automate, whether it be testing or code generation for development, documentation. There are a lot many things that the developers and the engineering teams do today, but that's not being considered as part of the way of delivering certain items or the pieces for the software, which will have a direct impact on your sizing of tickets, which again can be looked at your roadmap. Say, if you are actually sizing a ticket as, say, 8 story points, which is a big ticket, and 60% of the work for that particular ticket can be done using GenAI or any of the other tools, then it has to be sized smaller. But that's not happening. So this is a shift I think we need to bring into our change in the SDLC processes, how we estimate or size work. That's going to be really useful for our customers. So there is this mindset that we are trying to imbibe into engineering teams at Accion. They need to think automation. We need to be, we need to be upping our game. That's our theme for this year, if you all remember. I think this is one of those solutions, I think, the approach or the strategy that we need to take for us to up the game.
Sure. So any questions from the audience? There should be 2 questions. Yeah, Sushmita, is that one? Yeah, go on. It's an interesting question. So what is the expectation from a software engineering partner like Accion, from a...
Our expectation is very simple: delivery.
And I'm going to add that delivery with value.
Thank you. So there should be another question somewhere there. Okay. No, I know this. I know this.
Ramesh?
It doesn't look like a
Yeah,
kind of,
yeah. It looks like you're set up those questions, huh?
We've done that. Okay. So let's do a rapid fire now. Okay. So because I didn't get the real names the audience has sent me to get was 2 tools, new and innovative, that you've used and it really helped. Anyone can answer.
I can take that.
Yeah.
I think the tools that I recently have used, Viva Insights from Microsoft, I think has helped.
Which one is that?
Viva Insights by Microsoft. It's in the Teams extension. Because of the number of meetings, we all must be in the meeting hell. It sort of like looks at your calendar on your days and it blocks for focus times. It also reminds you, hey, it's time to start packing up to go home. You need to separate your personal life and your work life. When you're working from home, it's like non-ending, no breaks. So I think I really enjoyed that. The second tool I really enjoyed is the new Copilot that has been released. The clutter, the number of emails, again, email hell. So those are the 2 things I think I have been using.
Anybody else?
I think the one tool that I've been using is Datadog. I think they have introduced really cool AI tools in there for efficient monitoring and giving us the data. So that's one. And the other tool I'm really using is Brinka, which is really good for, developers can have their own little repo, gets the security scanning, whatever the zero-day attacks, everything gets scanned before it gets clobbered or deployed in other tooling mechanisms, so that there is separation of concern, and then also it becomes easier to detect and fix the code or fix the vulnerabilities right at the right location, instead of it then going and spoiling the basket of other stuff.
Renu?
Yeah, so this is not a new tool, and this is very common. Any developer would call this tool out, which is SonarQube. We have created a small solution using SonarQube, and we are encouraging the developers, or rather enforcing the development teams, to have this SonarQube set up. Before they submit their PRs or MRs, they actually use this solution to review the code, fix those issues, and then raise the PRs or MRs. That's one very useful tool. And I have seen recently that there has been an increase of plugins for browsers to generate the test scripts. It's basically record and play. Even Cypress has a plugin for Chrome. You record the scenarios and then you generate the code for the scenarios that you have created. I felt that's really, really helpful. Cut down a lot of effort in writing those test scripts. It's been wonderful, yeah.
Wonderful. We spoke about this. Any tips to measure developer productivity? If you were to appreciate 2 people as a top 2, or you want to not appreciate as bottom 2, is there any trick, tip that you guys follow?
Yeah, I'll take this. So basically, irrespective of your number of years of experience, right? The willingness to learn, that's one thing. The second thing is open for challenges, rather than being complacent and satisfied, okay, what I'm here is fine with me. Rather than that, when you put in a challenge, roll up your sleeves and take for that.
Any other metric for a developer?
I would say ownership and responsibilities. And rather than, I used to do the tracking of through code, but now it's more of if someone is able to take ownership of the work.
Okay. Okay, and let me ask, any experience of your last project, which was a big success, on time, on quality, using budget, everything, or a total learning exercise? Any learnings from there? Yeah, that all of us should take home?
Shahid can talk. Oh, sorry. Please go ahead.
No, please, very.
We didn't prepare, right? So for me, I think I have seen projects that are fully invested, that run like really long, although we call them agile, incremental releases. They are not really releases, they go big bang. They're not in production. You don't know when like it goes into production, it might fail, it might be over time, over budget, and then you don't even, it's a waste of time. So I think one important thing is like you need to fail fast, learn fast. So that's one thing I would strongly recommend to know that the projects are successful. The other thing is we have scrapped like $1 million project because we started like building libraries which we have never used in a hope that those reusable libraries will be sometime in the future be used for web applications. Then we realized that's not going anywhere and we scrapped it. So lessons learned.
Awesome. I think it shows 0, 0, 0, 0, but we could just go one round on any learning, anything that the team should take back, you know, on good delivery, lessons learned or something.
Yeah, I think when Mary brought up a very, very good point about failing fast. So I think very important, whether it's large-scale programs, projects, you know, even the product, we need to take, you know, logical pauses at every key milestone, assess our progress, understand whether we're doing it the right way, going in the right direction. If not, let's learn from it. Let's pivot from it at the right time before reaching the end state and then pivoting, I mean, not failing, basically. So I think we should go away from this concept of build, build, build. It should be build, measure, learn at every given point in time. Yep.
Jerome?
Yeah, I really appreciate plan, do, check, act, wheel. That's cautious. And I would like also to distress people about failing and about having to stop projects. I feel that's normal in a way. If we were not stopping projects, then that would mean that we are lacking ideas and that any idea is going at the end. That's not always the case. It happens that we have bad ideas. Well, the trick is that we need to limit that. So, question of chance, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah, more than this, all the deliverables and right, there is a people aspect, right? As long as any company take care of their people, obviously the company grows. So effectively, the emotional part to it always attached. So people should feel valued when they start working or when they're coming to office.
Good point.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah.
2 years back, we have rebadged our team members to Accion. And just right before this conference, me and Paul, we had an opportunity to meet the teams in person. We asked, how many of you in this audience are the rebadged folks? There were significant amount, close to, I want to say, 70% are still with Accion. And that speaks so much highly about Accion. You care for people.
Thank you. Shan?
Yeah, I think one of the good summits I've attended, and I'll be honest and candid that, you know, I was invited for AWS Connect, you know, IBM API, I mean IBM Think, and I try to avoid this, but this has been like, and the focus has been great with Accion Labs, and I believe like a lot has been spoken about AI, and a lot has been like there is a method to the madness, and I think we should all just embrace it, and I think you are all on the right track, is what I believe anyways, my opinion, that we are on the right track of embracing it in the right direction, and I think there is just much bigger, better future if we use it in the right thing, because the things that it can do for humanity and things it can do as a community, it has great potential. And it cannot master human. We will still be the best cognitive human being out there.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. I mean, we still have 10 more questions. We thought that any number of questions was not enough. We just kept adding in. But I think we were too good as a panel. So let's give it up. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.